in spite of all the mistakes that you made. I love that, being the joy of the Lord. I guess I might as well leave you, Zion. But the greatest joy of this text is not what Hosea went through. It was not how Hosea was willing to forgive Gomer. And it is not how long Hosea stayed up at night wondering where in the world might Gomer be. And I think I'll preach just a minute or so. And the greatest joy in the world is not how far Gomer went. Yeah, Lord, it ain't how far Gomer fell, y'all. And it ain't how far Gomer slipped, y'all. Yeah, Lord, because Barbara, I was like Gomer. I was sinking to rise no more. I ain't got no witnesses in here. Yeah, Lord, and Jesus threw out his lifeline and rescued me. Great God Almighty, let me leave you, Zion, on this note. I could see Gomer saying, will he redeem me? Will Hosea come and see about me? And she looked out and did not see Hosea. And she said, is he coming, y'all? And somewhere between the opening of the auction and the closing of the auction, Hosea showed up. Let me tell you a quick story before I leave you, Zion. There was a rich man that had a son, and that son died. But let me tell you, his wife Elizabeth was pregnant with that boy, and while Elizabeth was giving birth, the baby came out and Elizabeth died, and the old man loved that child with all of his heart. The baby of Elizabeth, his wife, on which he loved, she did childbirth. One day, his son died. Old man, Lord, went to the painter, said, Mr. Painter, will you take this portrait and make a painting of my son? And they tell me the man would stay in the house every single day just looking at the painting. One day the old man died and they made inventory of everything in his collection. They said the 2 Lamborghinis, 1 limousine, a Rolls Royce, house in the Cayman Islands, a house in Palm Coast, and a house in Bel Air. Well, they came to the auction. They said he got stocks and bonds. He got houses around the country. He got companies everywhere. Well, they were in an auction room and they were auctioning off the estate, and everybody was around in the room and was filled field and they opened up the auction, and somebody said when they go auction off the house in the Cayman, and when they go to auction off the Lamborghini, when they go off the Rolls Royce, and everybody was there and they started it off, and the auctioneer said, before we start, we got one thing in here we got to start it off with. And everybody thought it was the house in the Cayman. Somebody said, is it the Lamborghini? Somebody said, is it the house in Bel Air? Well, it was one thing. He said they got a painting of his son, and we got an auction off the son. The painting of the son first was his request, and the auctioneer started. He said, can I get $100? Can I get $100? And nobody would auction. And the auctioneer said, wait a minute, let me start out a little lower. He said, can I get $1? Can I get $1? One. And nobody would auction because they didn't want the painting. They wanted the house. They wanted the cars. And they wanted the nice things. Well, there was one old lady that was cleaning up in the room, pushing her little cot. And the old lady said, isn't that man's son? It's a nice picture. She said, I'll give you $1, Mr. Auctioneer, for his picture. That's my bus fare, but I'll give $1 and walk home for that picture. And the auctioneer says, sold to the woman in the back. Well, I wish it ended like that. The auctioneer said, walked up to the lectern and closed his book and said, now is the auction for the Henderson estate. They said, what are you talking about? He said, you failed to understand that the old man left in his will, he who gets the son gets my estate. And I come to tell somebody that if you get the Son of God, you got everything you need. Anybody in here got the Son? I was sinking deep in sin, far beneath the peaceful shores, but I came to Jesus just as I was, weary and sad. Anybody in here, tell your neighbor, I got Jesus. I got Jesus. I got it.